All right, so this week we're going to use our cutting edge research, and I think this is really important. There's so much of it that I had Brooklyn print it because I didn't want to miss anything. So I'm actually going to be using some notes today as we go through this because it's really important. We talked a lot about food, and now we're talking about sleep. And one of the things that goes along with both of these is alcohol consumption. So let's look at what the studies show. The most recent research has shown about alcohol and how detrimental it is to our health. And we're going to discuss it more in our live session this month also. But for now, Canada came out with some new guidelines recently, and it says that what they considered low risk for alcohol would be 2 or fewer drinks a week. This is per week. So 2 drinks or less per week. Moderate health risk would be 3 to 6 drinks per week. And high health risk would be 6 or more drinks a week. And they distinguish that anytime you each drink beyond 6 makes these increases much higher. So 7 is better than 8, 9, 10. It gets worse the more we go up. But the Canadian guidelines say that the health risks include heart disease, stroke, cancer, and I think the obvious to us, liver cirrhosis. But they go on to say that more than 6 drinks per week leads to increased health risks for men and women, but it's worse for women. And women who drank more than 3 drinks per week had a more steep increase in their health risk than did a man. And their research that they use for these guidelines say that there is no health benefits to drinking any amount of alcohol. Now we've heard, we've probably all heard that, hey, some wine here and there can be very beneficial for our heart, but we don't really see that as we go through this research. And they go on to say that we have found that alcohol is neither good or bad at low levels for some cardiovascular diseases, and at moderate to high levels it has a really detrimental impact. That's what one of the authors of the study said here. So that idea that, I can, and look, I'm not telling anybody not to drink their glass of wine at night. I'm just giving you the data on it that thinks it's heart protective is probably missing the point there. It's not shown to be heart protective. Now, so Canada says low risk would be 2 or fewer drinks a week. Moderate was 3 to 6, and 6 plus was high risk. Our CDC, Centers for Disease Control here, says that 7 drinks per week for women and 14 for men is what they would consider moderate. So our numbers in the United States are much different than the new Canadian numbers. But let's look at what this study shows. Another study, this was published in JAMA, which is the Journal of the American Medical Association. So a very commonly used publication for medical doctors in this country, and around the world. The study suggests that the benefits of moderate alcohol intake, so again, that glass or 2 of wine here and there, are really not there because those type of people who drank less already had other healthy lifestyle factors. So maybe there was a correlation somewhere along the line, but this study from JAMA is saying it wasn't from drinking the alcohol. It was probably because the people who only drank 1 or 2 drinks had other healthy lifestyle choices such as exercise, what they ate, what they drank outside of alcohol. So they're saying that that's probably the reason that the alcohol intake really doesn't have any benefit for us cardiovascular wise. That study goes on to say that even small amounts of alcohol consumption increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. And it says clearly this is not consistent with the current national guidelines that promote moderate alcohol consumption. CDC, again, 7 drinks per week for women, 14 drinks per week for men. So let's go to the next study. This was a study done in the publication Nutrients that says about 4% of all cancers worldwide are related to alcohol consumption. So when you think of cancer being the second leading cause of death in the United States, 4%, according to this research, is related to alcohol. That could make a huge difference in cancer numbers and cancer deaths. And it goes through why the alcohol is related to cancers. And that is because, basically, I'll summarize it, that it causes our DNA to be damaged. So it damages the signals in the cells, and it causes our cells not to perform the way they're supposed to. It goes on to talk about how it causes inflammation and more oxidative stress, which we'll talk more about. But those lead to every disease, so it's not uncommon to understand why it would lead to more heart disease, more stroke, more cancer, more liver issues, and all the above. Then there's a study, I'm not exactly sure, I'm not sure where this one was printed, but they say that there's no safe level of alcohol consumption for brain health. And they looked at 25,378 people. And what they concluded was that alcohol consumption is negatively associated with gray matter volume in the brain and stronger than other modifiable factors. So what they're saying is this, the bottom line is, any amount of alcohol decreases the gray matter or the size of our brains. So that's obviously not a good thing. And it seemed to be stronger than other things we could do that we know are healthy for the brain to shrink the brain tissue. So obviously not good. That same study goes on to say that people who drank any amount of alcohol had higher blood pressures, and their body mass index, or their fat, increased with that. Binging on alcohol, so like a heavy, maybe you say, well, I don't drink every day, I only drink on Saturday evenings or whatever. Binging on alcohol had additional negative effects on the brain structure compared to the total volume consumed. So 1 drink a night would give us 7 drinks a week versus 7 drinks at once. The 7 drinks at once would have more of a negative effect on the brain tissue size than the 1 a night. There was no difference. This is something that comes up a lot. Well, I don't drink beer, I don't drink hard liquor, I drink wine. There was no difference found on the effects between any of the types of alcohol. They all had the same negative effects. And this study concluded that there's no safe dose of alcohol for the brain at any levels, no safe amount. Moderate consumption is associated with more widespread adverse effects on the brain than we previously recognized. So hopefully it gets to the heart of the matter, is that any amount of alcohol can not only be damaging to our brain, to our cardiovascular system, to our risk for cancers, to our liver, obviously. We're going to talk in the live about how it tells the body or helps the body hold on to more fat, how it disrupts sleep, which, this month we're talking a ton about sleep. So we're going to go through all of those things, and we're just going to try to deep dive into it because it seems to be such a common thing, right? It seems to be common for people just to socially drink or casually drink or have their glass of wine to go to sleep. They think that it makes them sleep better, when actually we're gonna talk about in the live session how it does not help people sleep better. So hopefully this helps. Sorry I had to read this, but obviously there's a ton of new information out of all these studies, and I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything important. So we'll see you soon.